Do you want a 5th edition magazine series with truly phenomenal art and useful articles? Do you want to adventure as a survivor in a dead world? Are you looking for a dungeon crawl classics campaign to cleanse a forest of evil that spawns from its very roots? Well, if you answered yes to any of those questions, we've got books that take care of that for you and much more in the latest episode of D&D New Releases. So let's get started. Hi, it's Splinterverse. Welcome to another episode of D&D New Releases, where we offer first impressions of new third-party products for Dungeons & Dragons. We cover a selection of titles from Dungeon Masters Guild and Drive-Thru RPG each week. The titles are presented in alphabetical order, and all of them are linked in the video description. Purchasing the books using those links helps the channel, but you can also support us by purchasing one of our best-selling books. Our newest release, Dragonlance Companion, offers 180 pages for players and DMs to bring the magical world of Krynn to life. And like many of our books, it's available in hardcover and digital format. Our Swarms of the Multiverse offers over 70 brand new creatures, including their associated swarms, instructions on how to make your own balanced swarms, and lots of bonus materials such as 4 new demi-planes. Our Feywild Companion offers 150 pages of Feywild fun for players and DMs alike. Also, our book, Fizban's Vault of Draconic Secrets, contains over 50 pages of dragon-themed player options, including a subclass for each class and much more. We've got lineages suitable for any setting, as well as optional lineage rules in our Van Richten's Librum of Lineages. With our Potions Unlocked book, we have over 100 pages of material to take potions to the next level in your game. Please support the channel by purchasing our books using the links in the video description. First up, we have Arcadia Issue number 4, which is just one of the magazine series produced by MCDM Productions, the folks that brought you great books like Strongholds and Followers and all kinds of other good stuff. I've purchased Strongholds and several other books, and I've thoroughly enjoyed them, and they always have the most stunning art that you can really just linger on and enjoy and pick up new details every time. This picture is really cool. It's got a fallen angel on it. There's some like ravens or crows in here, and it's just stunning. And every issue of the magazine has a cover like that, as well as beautiful interiors. As you know, we only focus on one title per creator per episode, so we're just focusing on issue number 4 here. But I want you to know they've released pretty much all the issues of this magazine on Drive-Thru RPG, and down below you can see they've got these bundles which offer really screaming deals on the price to get all of them. So I hope you can click the link in our video descriptions and then peruse some of these bundles. But it's on sale right now, $4.99, normally $9.99. It's 41 pages. And it says, here's what you can find in issue number 4. It says, Willie Abiel returns with Swimming Through the Sand to see more mounted adventuring. So it's going to talk about mounted adventuring, which, you know, is something not really covered too much in the official rules. So having this for 5th edition is going to be helpful. It says the Chain Library from Cat Evans gives you a new adventure location and organization that any GM can drop into their campaigns. Far from civilization, a cabal of mage librarians guards and studies tomes too dangerous for most mortal eyes. That's awesome. I love that concept. I love books. Obviously, I'm doing a show on them, right? So mage librarians. I mean, I'm there. I'll buy my ticket right now for that. But it says this article includes new magic items, creatures, NPCs, and story hooks to help you bring the chained library into your world. There's also on the road encounters, which gives you 5 encounters that you can drop into your game as the characters travel from one place to another. It's got combat and intrigue and more that can happen on the road and bring your world to your life, or world to everyone's life, I should say, not just your life. So very, very cool. And I mean, just look at this artwork. That axolotl there, it looks so cool. And every one is full of that. So let's look inside. You can see here you get a letter from the editor. You get that items and monsters section, swimming through sand to sea. Then you get locations, the chain library we talked about, and then those on the road encounters, as well as some other resources. So you can't see everything in the preview, of course, but you get to read the letter if you want to read that. Then here is that swimming through sand and sea. So it says, in the first issue of Arcadia, Jumping on Mounted Combat expanded the rules for mounts and introduced new mount-ready versions of classic creatures. Most mounts are easy to ride in open environments, such as hills and plains, but many adventures take characters into tricky places where a horse or tame bullet will struggle. This article presents options for using mounts in dungeons, underwater locations, and other odd environments, including an array of new magic items and mounts with special abilities. That's awesome. So imagine getting to use your mount in the middle of a dungeon, right? That would be so cool. Or underwater, of course. And then it talks about the logistics of that. And then here's some of the magic items. And that's the extent of what you get to see in the preview. But as I said, I've purchased a number of issues of Arcadia, other products from MCDM, and they're always top notch. So don't let that stop you. But look here at these cool things. The one that really jumped out at me when I was looking at this earlier is the bell of the extra stable stable. I love that play on words, but it's very rare, requires attunement. It says this large cowbell is engraved with a symbol that resembles a stable door. When you ring the bell, a 10-foot square portal opens in an unoccupied space of your choice within 5 feet of you. Only you and creatures within 30 feet of you that you choose when you ring the bell can enter the portal. The portal leads to an extra-dimensional spacious stable with room for up to 8 large creatures to live comfortably. The stable changes to meet the needs of its inhabitants, providing food and other essentials for the creatures that stay there. A quiet spirit that resembles a bugbear tends to the stable and any inhabitant's needs. The spirit follows your orders and can perform any task a normal bugbear could perform, but can't attack or take any action that would directly harm another creature. So how cool is that? You have a stable on command. You're going to need that if you're going to have all these mounts that you want to use all over the place, right? And it's really, really a nice touch that there's this bugbear spirit. I mean, you can come up with a name for the bugbear, and I think that would be really fun to think, what am I going to name this bugbear spirit that lives in here? And then now you've got this character that you're going to interact with, at various times. So it says, when you leave the stable or ring the bell a second time, the portal closes. The stable can be accessed twice. Afterwards, a new portal to the stable can't be opened until the next dawn. Items that create their own extra-dimensional spaces can safely be brought into the stable due to its extra stable nature. However, the usual consequences from intersecting 2 lesser extra dimensional spaces, such as a portable hole inside of a bag of holding while inside the stable, still apply. So that's cool. You can walk in there with your bag of holding and portable hole, but if you try to use it, you might cause challenges. I love it. This is so cool. And they've got a return bridle and crop, a meld harness, an air skimmer bridle. Let's look at that one. It says, uncommon. While a creature with the mounted trait wears this bridle and bit, it gains the following benefits. Any swimming or burrowing speed becomes a flying speed, and the creature can hover. So that's awesome. You could turn a horse into basically a flying horse. Well, it doesn't have a swimming or burrowing speed, so you'd have to pick something that can do one of those things. So one of those, I'm sure there's plenty of mounts that do that in that. And I could, the things you could do with a flying creature that's not normally flying. I mean, how fun would that be? The creature can breathe air and water. So then, if you're taking something that maybe can't breathe underwater and you're giving it this speed, it can now breathe underwater, which is awesome. The creature weighs half as much as it normally does. That's also helpful. You never know when you're going to have weight limits that your mount will not meet. So very, very cool, as usual, quality stuff from MCDM. And we're just scratching the surface with this, because there's a whole series of this magazine already available. These issues have come out. You can see this bundle down here. It's issues 3 through 6. I think I have 1 through 4 from their website, and awesome stuff. So very, very cool to see them here on DriveThruRPG, so you can add them to your library here, and great prices on them. I'm really excited for that. So I hope you look for it in the video description links. It's under Arcadia issue number 4. Give it a click. Next, we have Blights of the Eastern Forest, a first level campaign, and it's for Dungeon Crawl Classics. It says, what is it that turns a land sour? What evil breeds and lurks under the dark boughs of the eastern forest that has for generations cast a shadow of dread over the village of Reed? Is it possible a band of adventurers, stout of heart, body, and mind, can put an end once and for all to the corruption that dwells within? Blights of the Eastern Front sends your adventurers on a dangerous mission to cleanse the evil that spawns from the very roots of the woods and weaves a rich history that continues your adventurers' careers from 0 levels in the previous installment in this series to hardy first levels. And, you know, you could start with just this one. You could start with first level, of course. It's got a poster-sized map with 11 adventure locations, a bestiary of foul horrors to encounter, new spells, magical weapons and items, hex-crawling rules featuring the Blights die, strange flora to consume, and much more. I was looking at this earlier, and I love the art style in it. So cool. We're going to look at that in just a minute, but you can see it's got introduction to the setting, then it goes into each of the areas, A through, let's see, J it looks like. So you've got things like the Rook's Hut, the Lost Battlefield, Featherhead Swamp, Kalich's Hovel, and the Garden of Solace. So some fun sounding names of the places. Then you get this whole bestiary with everything from a cherub spider horror down to the Rook itself. So fun. And then here's your introduction. And here's some of that art. Look at how this hand-drawn art looks. Very cool. This is the village of Reed, and you can see that it's going to lead into this forest, the Eastern Forest. But you got introduction, background, ancient history with more fun line art for you, Sword of the King, Dagger of the Necromancer items. So let's look at just the village of Reed. It said, Reed is a simple farming village surrounded by many tilled fields of wheat and corn that lie ever in the shadow of the eastern forest. The people have forgotten the village was named after the old king that once ruled over these lands. A council of elders known as 𝙤𝙘𝙤𝙤 has long since advised and guided the small populace in affairs of the law and old customs. The 𝙤𝙘𝙤 may have sought out the PCs for aid, or should the PCs hail from the village and survive the events of Sky of Crimson Flame, they may have given them the ancient map of the Eastern Forest, unless they found it by some other means, and proclaimed it is their kismet to end the blight. So very cool. They're saying you can start, here with level 1, and they can find the map somewhere. It can be given to them, or you can complete that level 0 adventure that they published previously from Owl Knight Publishing, and lead right into this from that using that map. So I like that they're giving you both options here. Then you got some ancient history. I love when you have ancient history. It talks about the king and all that stuff. But then let's look at some of these items. I love this one with the eyeball or whatever symbol that is on the top there of the dagger. And it looks like vertebrae for the handle. That's so cool. It says, Dagger of the Necromancer. The dagger known as 𝙤𝙘𝙤𝙤𝙠𝙨 is a powerful relic forged not from steel, but from the very soul of the necromancer 𝙤𝙤𝙘𝙤𝙪𝙧𝙚. The wavy edged blade of bone emerges from a sleeve of flesh with veins that pulse and quiver. Now that's cool. So you can even just wave this at somebody and it might terrify them. How it's moving about. The blade possesses a sliver of the necromancer's soul and therefore possesses a high intelligence and a will of its own. A party carrying the weapon draws the attention of the denizens of the forest, causing the chance for a random encounter to be increased. Oh, okay. Well, you got to be worried about that. Maybe you don't even know that it's doing that. Characters' critical and fumble range differs depending on their alignment as the blade wiggles within their grasp. The dagger can also be used as a wand, providing a bonus or penalty to spell checks based on the wielder's alignment. So cool. It's interesting. You don't see that a lot in 5e where the alignment matters on things like this. So it's fun to see that here since this is Dungeon Crawl Classics. If the PCs are not already in possession of the blade, then it may be found slinking around somewhere in the rubble of the ancient keep or in the hands of the children of the Crimson Flame. And then it gives you all the stats. And then it talks about how it has a connection to the previous 0 level module. If you want to exploit that, you can. But optional, right? I love that. I love that you have options with stuff like this. And the art, I mean, look at this cover. Look at the fun artwork on here. But it's $24.99 for the 100 pages here. And I mean, this is going to be a full campaign, and it's really nice because I don't feel overwhelmed by the setting like it's some 40 book setting, right? This is just a few books, so you can really make it your own and have a lot of fun with it. Here's down here, you can see the sky of Crimson Flame. That's the previous 0 level if you want to check that out as well. But look for it in the video description links under Blights of the Eastern Forest and give it a click. Next, we have Bullets and Bleedthroughs, a 5e role-playing game, and it's from Outland Entertainment. 217 pages for $14.99 for a PDF, or you can get that black and white book hardcover $34.99, or both of those for $44.98. It says, welcome to the world of the now, an unforgiving place settled by survivors from the dead world of before. Crooked folk stalk the dusty inland, pouncing on travelers too stupid to hide behind a town wall. 𝙤𝙘𝙬𝙧𝙬𝙀 spread their right across the land, sniffing for bleed-throughs full of before treasure. Bird riders race on their 10 feet tall birds towards loot and carnage. So there's a lot going on because this is sort of like a hodgepodge world, it seems like, of various things. There's these bleed-throughs, which I'm assuming are like areas where the barrier between two places is weakened and things are bleeding through. That's what I'm assuming. I haven't read the book, but that's what I'm assuming is going on. Because if you look at the cover, you can see all manner of different things. I mean, there's fantastical creatures. You know, these look like some in the lower right. There's some giant sort of iguana-like things. On the left, you've got this dinosaur thing. You've got something that looks like a gun, a tanker. I mean, it's just a mixture of things. People riding these dinosaurs, doing different things. I mean, this place is a mixture, which I like. I think that can present some really interesting opportunities and also freeing, because if it's got a mixture of things bleeding through, then you can really mix in some stuff from elsewhere and to make it your own. But I believe this is based on some books, so you could also read those to learn more about the setting. But it talks about the setting, the heritage, which is the different races. Then you've got your character classes like Bird Rider, Feral, Flenser, and some others. You've got backgrounds, you've got mob rules, all kinds of interesting stuff here to explore. Even some monsters. And then it talks about bleed-throughs, and there's a gazetteer. And, you know, this is just based on the first book, I think, in the series. So I'm sure there's going to be expansions that take you beyond this. But it really, really looks like a fun setting. I'm just scrolling through so you can see they've even got a section on terminology. So it talks about it, but this now and before, you know, those are the general concepts of, you have the world now with all these bleed-throughs, and then you have the world before as well. It says, so Bullets and Bleed-Throughs is a 5th edition compatible RPG based in the setting of Jason Fisher's books of Before and Now. With this game, you can experience the world and the characters of the first novel. So it looks like there may be already other novels, but the first one's Papa Lucy and the Bone Man. Bullets and Bleed-Throughs allows players to step into those grimdark pages, put on a pair of dead man's boots, and unleash as much savagery as they can handle. Despite that, this game is not all unrelenting darkness that awaits a party. Dark humor aplenty awaits. You might get invited to a cannibal cookout where a scavenged record player is belting out ABBA's Dancing Queen at maximum volume across the wasteland. Life is short in the now, so have a nice cup of tea from the Billy. Eye off the nearest bastard you think who deserves a shotgun to the teeth, and try your hand at Nutbush. So you can see it's like a hodgepodge, like I said, of different things, which I think really can let your imagination run wild, because normally you think, oh, I want to put this modern thing in my fantasy setting, and it's like, you know, it's cringe, right? But then in a setting like this where worlds are sort of colliding, it fits perfectly, and you don't have to try too hard to explain it. So I really think that's a good idea. And that I'm just scratching the surface. You can explore some of the terminology, and I mean, look at this really fun line art that is throughout this. If you are at all interested in something that's a little different, and it's fully compatible with 5th edition, that is so cool. I think you should look for it. It's under Bullets and Bleedthroughs in the links below. Give it a click. Next we have Fallen from Heavens, Discover the Fate of Fallen Celestials by Marco Giulio Fossati and Marco Bertini. It's $3.95 for 22 pages. And it says this volume explores the concept of fallen angels, giving guidelines to create and customize them, as well as introducing a bunch of new monsters. So you get 15 new monsters and stat blocks, 3 tables to create your unique Fallen Celestial, and of course, beautiful artwork. Sign of the Dragon always does really good quality work. I enjoy every time they release a new title. So I'm happy to have one to share with you. Look at, how beautifully illustrated are these? You get to see some really fun looking creatures, as well as this concept of dealing with things. So it says Fallen from Grace, the fall, the goal after the fall, the appearance. So it's going to be talking about, what happens. How do these things fall? What is the circumstance? So you can build a whole adventure campaign, even just encounters around this notion of celestials are falling. There's got to be a reason they're falling to the material plane or wherever this is happening for you. And then you get to see some examples of the creatures that are falling. So this one is a Dark Pegasus. It's a CR4. Then we have an Angel of Decay, which is a CR9. So that looks really cool. I love the artwork for this one. But let me read about the Dark Pegasus. So it says, Dark Pegasi are carnivorous predators that prey upon their victims from the sky. Their skin is black, and sometimes they radiate a cold, thin, blackish aura. Dark Pegasi primarily feed on humanoid flesh. They eat the flesh immediately after killing their prey. Dark Pegasi roam the sky looking for a potential prey, and when they find it, they dive steeply into it. So yeah, that'd be scary. You're just walking along, and then all of a sudden this giant horse thing comes flying out of the sky and tries to eat you, basically. Hopefully you'd see its shadow flying above, and you'd get some warning. But if your spidey sense isn't tingling, you might be Dark Pegasus food if you're not careful, it looks like. And it's got an attacking dive, so it can be 30 feet straight down toward a target. And then it's got hooves, and then of course dark protection. It can emanate a thin blackish sphere of 10-foot radius for 1 minute, and it moves with the Dark Pegasus. And for the duration of the sphere, ranged attacks against the Dark Pegasus are made with disadvantage. So it can kind of protect itself. So you kind of have to get up close if you want to have the best chance to take this thing down, but then it could fly, right? So yeah, I think this is going to be a challenging one for people to take out, but it's a CR4, so it's no chump change. Very, very cool. And then there's this Angel of Decay up here. It says Angels of Decay are celestials whose bodies are constantly rotting and streaming off liquid corruption. Angels of Decay usually are created after they are defeated by a powerful demon lord. It is said that also evil gods can turn a celestial into an Angel of Decay. So that's fun. You could play with that from a story point of view, that here's this celestial, maybe you've even met the celestial before, and then it gets into a conflict with a demon lord or an evil god or something, and then the next thing you know, it looks like it's just falling apart and rotting and everything, and it becomes a CR9 challenge for you, and maybe it goes from friend to foe. But these are just ideas right off the top of my head already from this book. It's going to inspire you. It's going to give you lots of celestials. You always need more of those because it feels like there just aren't enough published out there. So you get those celestials, you get the fun ideas, you get ways to customize them. I think this is a win-win for everyone. Look for it. It's under Fallen from Heavens in the links below, and give it a click. Next we have the GM's Toolbox from Kabouter Games. It is $14.95 for the PDF, $24.95 for the standard softcover, or you can get both for that same price. It's already a best copper seller, and it is 162 pages. And it seems like it's going to work with multiple editions, because they have over here System Neutral, 5th edition, OSR, Labyrinth War, Dungeon Crawl Classics, all those things, which makes sense because this is really a reference book that's going to help you do various things using, tables and things like that. So it says it's the result of a devoted tabletop role-playing nerd sifting through a box containing 35 years worth of notebooks and scraps of paper, and realizing there was a ton of great stuff to share there. If you're a role-playing game referee, whether you call yourself a GM, DM, Labyrinth Lord, whatever, you know that it's smart to take good notes and jot down ideas when they come to you. Later you file away those ideas you know are good but can't use right now. So that's what happened here. So you're getting 2 new classes for both 5th edition and OSR games, dozens of adventure seeds, 100 magic items, hundreds of trinkets, 6 all-new monsters, twisted versions of core 5e magic items, weird quirks to give a character or NPC, dozens of rumors for players to chase down, essays on the art and craft of role-playing gaming, tables, lots of tables for stuff ranging from spooky sounds to permanent injuries, magic swords, each with names and lore to help you root them in your world, and 150 pages of content. I mean, again, it's actually more than that. It's 162. So really, really cool. It says most of the tools are system and setting neutral. If it has mechanics, the author tried to keep them system neutral, but there are some 5th edition as well as stats for OSR in here. So nice. I like that blend. So you see you get rumors, monsters, adventure hooks, trinkets, all kinds of goodies in here. So it talks about using the book. It's got some D66 stuff. So we'll read some of the rumors here in a second. But you get to see 35 pages, so that's a healthy assortment of things to see. So you got a corpse fly swarm here that you're going to have to deal with, and that swarm is a CR4. So that's really cool. And it's got something called Weight of Misery. A creature in a space occupied by the swarm has its speed reduced by half and must succeed on a dex saving throw or become blinded. Both effects end when the creature doesn't share space with the swarm at the end of the creature's turn. So that's fun. You could be blinded by this corpse fly swarm. It looks like this creature is being surrounded by them in that picture. Let's read some of the rumors. It says the general store clerk hasn't been acting herself lately. That could be a problem, especially if you're supplying the entire town with food or other goods. Let's see. The ravens of Thornhills have gained sentience and speech. That could be a fun thing to figure out. Why did that happen and what are they up to? It says the master of the Merchants Guild is conspiring to overthrow the king. And these are all rumors, right? So they could turn out to not even be true. But it's fun to have rumors. You never know when you're going to just need to, sometimes you even just need a red herring. You throw something at your characters to get them off balance, and let them figure out for themselves, is this meaningful or not, right? Here you've got a hooks table. It says a long abandoned fortress to the north has been seen lit up at night by floating blue lights. A foul air permeates the nearby land. Olivia Stoutheart warns that odd fake creatures live in the region. Lawson Terran wouldn't go near the fortress if you paid them. So, yeah, you could tease that there's this fortress to the north and something is going on with these blue lights. And various people are saying what they think is going on. But again, some of that could be true, some of it not. It's where, with these kind of seeds, it's wherever your mind takes you as a DM. What do you want to do? What do you want to make true versus not? Maybe there's a twist. Like blue lights, maybe it's just somebody practicing magic that has a blue color, in some of the effects, right? So it could be lots of stuff going on. It says the adventurers need to get from point A to point B and don't know the way. The local sheriff, Rowan Fordragon, offers to lead them if they help him kill a powerful monster that's been attacking the town's supply lines. Rowan wants to help, but the town must be his priority. Friedrich Reese doesn't think the sheriff is doing a good job and wants the adventurers to sabotage the mission to prove his incompetence. So there you got some competing interests, and it just says point A to point B. So you just need 2 places for this to occur between, in the middle of some other goal that the party has. So that fits perfectly. And you got some trinkets here, it looks like. So things like a tiny green glass vial containing sweet smelling oil, a doll figurine with no eyes made from silk, a basilisk's eye preserved in a vial of scented oil. So really cool stuff. Then you've got this. I love this artwork, magic items and more. So then we're getting into the magical items. I mean, there's so much to see. Here's Aprix's rod. Then you've got Chalice of St. Ingard, Chaining Mail. So let's read Chaining Mail here. It says, Armor Chain Shirt, rare. It is said that these shirts of metal links were created for inquisitors of a holy order, the name of which is lost to history. The armor's powers aided them in their task of capturing and bringing to trial those who scoffed at the law. It has 3 charges, and it regains 1d3 expended charges daily at dawn. While you wear it, as an action, you can expend 1 of its charges to cast the Hold Person spell, using your spell save DC or DC 14, whichever's higher. So that's cool. Be able to hold person with basically your armor. Got orbs in here, consumables. I mean, there's so much, and you're going to see 35 pages of this. Remember, this is sort of like the treasure trove that's just been waiting to be used, and this DM hasn't gotten the chance to. So now it's out here for you to use with a list of quirks for the characters. I mean, you can just never have enough of books like this. It as whether you're a creator, a dungeon master, a novelist. I mean, these things are going to just tweak you and get you inspired. I was reading through and giving you ideas of how to use it. That's just one interpretation, right? You can have your own experience. These things can trigger your own ideas, and that is priceless. You never know when you're going to be like, I just don't have any inspiration. I don't have any ideas. A book like this, roll on some tables, even just peruse the table and pick stuff and go, yeah, this resonates with me right now. It's really, maybe it connects to another idea in your head that wasn't fully formed that you need something for. Whatever. This is a toolbox that is waiting for you to explore at a reasonable price for so many pages, over 160. So look for it. It's under GM's Toolbox in the links below. Give it a click. Next, we have Subclasses of Dragonlance with the Path of the 3 Eyes for Barbarians, Way of the 3 Moons for the Monk, and Oath of the Bright Blades for the Paladin. And it's from Tabletop Journeys, which does awesome podcasts. You definitely need to look for them. I've enjoyed listening to many episodes of their show, and they have just so much going on, so much to engage with. And they worked on our Dragonlance companion, so they know a thing or two about Dragonlance. So you should definitely support them. And it says, in the epic world of Dragonlance, where heroes rise and legends are forged, a new chapter awaits. Journey deeper into the realms of Krynn with this thrilling supplement that brings new possibilities to your game. Embrace the wild nature of the lunar eyes, which watch all of Krynn, and let it feed your inner beast as a Path of the 3 Eyes barbarian. Harness the raw power of the moons of Krynn and focus their powerful gifts through your key with the Way of the 3 Moons monk. Focus your strength of character in defense of those around you with the Oath of the Bright Blades paladin. So very, very cool to see some new options for your subclasses to explore, and they've got some fun tables in here. It looks like we're going to look at the moon mark in a minute, but I mean, look at the cool artwork in here and the different subclasses. And I love that they're playing with the different moons and trying different things, because one of the really cool things about Krynn is all the different moons. You don't see that always with some of the fantasy settings, right? Some settings have different moon things, but Krynn is known for that, having the 3 moons with the different names and the association with the gods and all that. So this is the Path of the 3 Eyes. It says, the light of Krynn's 3 moons holds a mystical and spiritual place in the traditions of Ansalon's barbarian peoples. For followers of the Path of 3 Eyes, this connection runs even deeper, and each bears a mark specific to one of the 3 moons. To be moon-marked is not only a great honor among the barbarian peoples, but is also a sign of great destiny. On rare occasions, a child with a strong enough destiny may be born with the mark. Most, however, must study under the Path of the 3 Eyes barbarian, then undertake a spirit quest to be accepted by one of the moons. If they are found worthy, their mark will manifest instantly. These moon-marked barbarians gain sight beyond their physical senses, and their martial prowess is bolstered by their connection to the moon's power. In their own tribes, these warriors fill the roles of great champions, spiritual advisors, and tribal leaders. Even in other tribes, they are met with respect and can usually find shelter and aid. So really, really cool. And, it says here you can change the 3 moons to represent other things, like different phases, like full, new, and crescent, or you can have add multiple moons to your homebrew setting, whatever you need to do to use this outside of Krynn as well. which is helpful. But I love this concept of like, you end up with a mark on you if you've got this connection and this sort of assemblage of these people that have been moon marked is this tribe. So it's very visually spiritual, I think, which is cool. So for the third level feature, it says, Path of the Three Eyes Barbarians all bear a mark of the color of the moon that has chosen them. Choose one of the moon marks from the moon mark table below, then roll on or choose your mark's appearance from the moon mark appearance table. So yeah, you would get, if you're dealing with Solinari, you're going to get the bright eye, which is, it's white in color, and the damage type associated with it is radiant. Nuatari is black with necrotic. Lunatari is red with psychic. And then it says, a moon mark appearance, a birthmark near the elbow of your dominant hand resembling the moon of your moon mark. What phase is it in? So you'd have to ask that question and come up with the answer for that. A shock of hair of the color of the moon of your moon mark. So you can have that. Your pupil and iris are a solid circle, the color of your moon mark. So many different ways. We just read 3 out of 8 options here. And then, of course, if you work with your DM, you can come up with another way, right? It says Focus of the Three Eyes, so this is another third level. It says you learn the guidance cantrip and can cast it as a bonus action, so that's cool. 6th level, you learn the augury spell and can cast it without expending a spell slot once per long rest. Fury of the Three Eyes, 10th level. Your Focus of the Three Eyes ability swells to a fury, granting you the following abilities. Your guidance cantrip now provides a 1d6 bonus instead of a 1d4. You now have resistance to the damage type associated with your moon mark. So as I said, with Solinari, you're going to have radiant damage resistance, and not just when raging. And while raging, the first time you deal damage with a weapon attack each turn, the additional damage you deal increases to 2d6 plus your proficiency bonus of the damage type associated with your moon mark. And then Avatar of the Three Eyes, your 14th level. When you are raging and take damage from a weapon attack dealt by a creature within 30 feet of you that you can see, you can use your reaction to blast that creature with the full power of your moon. This retributive strike deals 48 damage of the type associated with your moon mark, and the target must make a con saving throw against a DC of 8 plus your con bonus plus your proficiency bonus. On a failure, the target is pushed 10 feet away from you in a straight line and is blinded until the end of their next turn. So that's really cool. It seems like a very moon themed, with the different abilities that you're getting and damage connections to it and the different marks you can have. And that's just the barbarian one. There's the monk in here. You can see the whole book. You can really look at everything and say, hey, is this going to work for me? Where can I use this? Remember, you can use subclasses for NPCs as well. You don't have to always use them for players. So I encourage you to check it out. It's under Subclasses of Dragonlance in the links below. Give it a click. Next, we have the Tiny Tome of Cool Mounts from Zakura. It's $3 for 37 pages. It says, how often as GMs do we face the problem of our players wanting their own mounts, but they are not willing to ride a simple horse? In fact, they prefer to walk before riding a simple beast without special abilities that cannot speak. Has it ever happened to you? Well, anyway, here's a solution. So this Tiny Tome has different mounts, like the Celestial Direwolf, Giant Desert Scorpion, Chromatic Griffin, Leaf Glow Wolf, Timberleg Spider, Titanic Bird. So we looked at earlier, the Arcadia magazine has an article on using mounts in all sorts of places, including, dungeons and underwater and stuff. So you might need mounts for that. So this gives you lots of options, and it's always beautifully done. Zakura always does really, really cool layouts. And my favorite thing about Sakura's work is that there's these scalable stat blocks. So actually I should show you that. So there's different stats in this table. There's a table here. If you look at this page that's at the top of the screen here on the right, this table at that top of that right hand page is so that you can scale these stat blocks for different challenge ratings and things like that. So it's never gonna not work. It's going to work for whatever level you have, whatever's going on. You're going to have those options. So it talks, gives you the intro, how things are set up, and then it talks about how things are scalable in here. It's because the scalable version of the monsters on this document are divided into two parts. One is the table that shows its most important numerical statistics at different challenge ratings, and the other is the text that describes the attributes, features, and actions. Such a cool technique. It's in all of Zakuro's books, and I really, really enjoy it. But then here you get some advanced writing rules, which, as we mentioned earlier in the video, mounts are, kind of neglected. They don't get a lot of attention in the official book, so having these third-party options is really cool. So, they've got talks about the basic rules, but it says, why new advanced rules? The 5th edition rules are very easy to understand, and the purpose is that, not to complicate the game, especially in parts that are not the center of the fun. But since this document dealing with mounts, it makes sense to go deeper into them and make this part of the game more fun. So in these rules, the verb mount is used to refer to the action of getting on a creature and the state of being on it, regardless of whether you are controlling the creature or not. And the verb ride is used when the creature willingly accepts you as its rider, regardless of whether you control it or it is an intelligent creature acting on its own. So it says, as an action, you can mount a willing creature or dismount. During your move, you can spend 20 feet of movement to mount a willing creature or dismount, only if you have enough movement left. Mounting an unwilling creature requires special actions. If an effect moves your mount against its will while you're on it, you must succeed on an athletics or acrobatics check or fall off the mount, landing prone in a space within 5 feet of it. The difficulty is equal to 8 plus 1 for every 5 feet the mount was moved. If you're knocked prone while mounted, you must succeed on a dex saving throw. If your mount is knocked prone, you can use your reaction to dismount. So those are some good rules. And then riding difficulty and rider levels. So it says the mounts have different difficulties to be ridden. This difficulty depends on how well trained they are, and in the case of intelligent creatures, how willing they are to be ridden. This difficulty is called the riding difficulty level. And then there's different levels, like 1 is the easiest and 3 is an untrained creature. And then you have a character rider level, which has to be equal to or greater than the mount you're trying to ride. So you can make a whole campaign around, trying to get a mount and all this stuff, even just a couple adventures, and then start using the mount in the later part. And it talks about leveling up and then the rider level and how to level up. So basically you have to do things to gain experience to increase your rider level. Makes perfect sense. But I'm here to tell you, like all things with D&D, you can make it your own. You can use some of these rules, none of these rules, all of these rules, whatever works for you. In any case, there's a ton of mounts in here. The leaf glow wolf, the titanic birds, giant desert scorpion. So even if you don't use those special rules we talked about, these stat blocks are going to work, and they're scalable for all these things. You can also use them as enemies. The giant desert scorpion doesn't have to be a mount, but it's cool that there's so much information on their ecology, combat, habitat, society, history, all of that stuff, so that you can easily make a whole story out of just a mount. So if your players have been crying for it, or you've just wanted to try it yourselves, you need to get the tiny tome of cool mounts. So look for it in the video description links and give it a click. Next we have Wicked Little Delves Volume 2 from Dungeon Age Adventures, $3 for 22 pages, and this is for 5th edition OSR and Into the Odd. So you're getting 3 systems for the price of 1, all in the same book. And this one includes 3 small dungeon adventures. The first one, a salt mine taken over by aggrieved salt knockers. The second one, a swamp settlement destroyed by raging swamp brutes. And the third one, a decadent earth scraper where the residents found immortality within their iron thralls. So each monster has stats for 5th edition Old School Essentials and Into the Odd. The adventures are intended for characters levels 4, 5, and 6. They are mainly focused on exploration and combat with some minor social encounters. Estimated runtime for each is either 1 session or 2 to 5 hours. Each adventure includes 1 complex original monster and a variety of unique treasures. So really cool. I always love the stuff from Dungeon Age. They use this cool 3-column format, and they always give you multiple systems. So I love that. Here's your map for this first one. It looks like, or maybe it's for all of them, I'm not sure. Level 3, 1, 2, and 3, and then you've got notes, the Mine of Mourning, and then here you can see. Okay, so this says Salt Knocker 5E, so that's your stat block for that. And then you scroll up here and you got Salt Knocker Old School Essentials, right? And then Salt Knocker Into the Odd. So 3 different stat blocks for this monster. Here's some of the different chambers, so we'll look at one of those in a minute, but let's look at the random encounters. So the first one is 2 knockers break free of the walls and attack, and the second one is 1 knocker lies in an ambush as a lump of salt on the floor. So these creatures must be able to resemble salt. A salt knocker makes sense. It says a minor corpse riddled with stab wounds. It's got a pocket full of blue salt. And so maybe that could scare you if you're worried about the salt knockers, but it sounds like you can heal with that. A small dragon skull fossil in the wall glowing softly, and that's just 4 of the 6 there. So let's look at one of these areas. So we've got the yellow shrine, iron closed and rusted is the statistics on the door. It says there's no light. Thousands of tiny stalactites drip down upon the uneven floor. A pillar of yellow quartz has been carved into a crude statue. Tiny boxes sit piled around it. So it says, blessed, unbreakable Saint Andony of the cave, small, hunched, eyes shut, one hand cupped to her ear. Inscription, blessed are the wise, let me hear your name. Shout your name at the statue to gain echolocation. Yell your own name in any room to learn where every object and creature is, regardless of abilities or magical effects. That could be interesting. Yelling in this room attracts 1d6 knockers. So you are trying to use echolocation and you're at the same time drawing the enemies. And there's some boxes. It says mostly wood, fragile, water damage, contains scraps of paper. Watch over my son, keep me safe. And then there's 1 box is gold, which is locked, contains a glass ring etched with the rune for joy. The wearer is immune to fear, always smiles eerily, and then it says the key is in number 9. So fun stuff. I mean, here's room 9, so you can find the key there. But I love how it just really breaks down all the essential things that you need to know, and you can add your own flavor and mix it up. For multiple systems. Always a pleasure to get that for the same price of just $3. So look for it in the links below under Wicked Little Delves Volume 2 and give it a click. Next we have Witness the Astral Sea from Decrepit Method tabletop. It's $2.99 for 7 pages. It says, explore the strange and liminal ocean of memories with Witness the Astral Sea, an expansion for D&D. Between the turmoil of the elemental planes, the divinity of the upper planes, the treachery of the lower planes, and the complexities of the mundane plane is an intermediary realm filled with pensive silver liquid. This is the Astral Sea, known by many names, the liminal, the sea of stars, the ocean of memories, and the plane between planes. Travelers to the Astral Sea remark on the vastness of the sky, filled with warm orange yellow stars that feel like a familiar soul, the depth of the silver sea that draws you spiraling down, and the overwhelming peace of its timelessness. So you've got a whole new sorcerer's origin, which is a subclass called the Astral Herald, 2 new astral themed spells, 3 new creatures, the Astral Mephit, the Soul Flames, and the Memory Cultivator, descriptions to inspire locations and encounters when traveling the Astral Sea, effects to make the Astral Sea a unique reality, an astral template that modifies existing monsters, making them native to the Astral Sea. So this is really a nice grab bag of things to bring the astral plane to life. You're getting subclasses, spells, monsters, templates. I mean, it's just a lot of different little things that I think collectively will make the area feel different. Because one of the challenges with the planes is that how does it differ from the material plane? The material plane kind of resembles real life a little bit, right? So then when you go to these other planes, it needs to get more and more fantastical. And we have Planescape coming very, very soon. So anything to do with the planes is going to be helpful. So let's look inside and see a little bit. You can see the whole book. That's awesome. So that's nice. It says, memory in the Astral Sea. Memories have a special place in the Astral Sea. They flow through the plane like wind, whispering hints of ancient lore and dead traditions as a whistling breeze. And travelers must be weary, lest the knowledge they hold dear be taken by the gale. Many mortals enter the liminal in hopes of recovering such memories and the esoteric knowledge they contain. However, those who take from the Astral Sea understand that there must be an exchange, and to learn something that has been forgotten by the rest of existence requires that you give a bit of your own memory in return. So that could be an interesting role play opportunity to decide what are we going to do, or not even realizing, hey, why do I not remember this anymore? Because I just, now I know how to use this ancient artifact. So there's portals. It talks about here encounters, different effects like mental mobility. You are propelled by your mental will. Your speed is equal to 25 feet plus 5 times your intelligence modifier, and you can move in any direction, including vertically. There's some narrative effects, like while you are asleep, your dreams are visible as translucent reflections in the Gossamer Sea. That's a cool little kind of ribbon effect. I love that. Creature trails. To make another creature feel native to the Astral Sea, you can add some of the following traits to their stat block. I mean, look at this. This is just giving you so much in these 7 pages. I can't believe you're getting so many cool things. There's this spell called Discordant Memories. It's an enchantment. 1 action range of 60 feet. And it's instantaneous. Bard, sorcerer, warlock. You pluck strands of forgotten memories of from the Astral Sea and force them into the mind of the target creature, overwhelming their senses. The target must make a wisdom saving throw. On a failed save, it takes 2d12 psychic damage and must immediately use this reaction, if available, to drop prone. On a successful save, the creature takes half as much damage and does not have to drop prone. And then it has a higher level upcast, which is cool. But yeah, I mean, so many connections here. You've got an astral method, CR1 here that you can use. You got a swarm of soul flames, CR5. It talks about speed in the Astral Sea. The memory cultivator is CR9. So you're getting a good mix of creatures with those 3 creatures here. It says the denizens of the Astral Sea generally come in 2 varieties: those native to the Astral Sea, who are suffused with its memories and mental energy, and those who are simply passing through. Many creatures hunger for sustenance in the form of stories, knowledge, and memories, and may be willing to assist travelers who provide such informational delicacies. So cool. I like that. I mean, you just can't go wrong with this. It's only $2.99. You're going to get 7 pages packed with stuff for the Astral Sea, which is underdeveloped generally. So what are you waiting for? Look for it in the video description links. It's under Witness the Astral Sea. Give it a click. Now it's time for shout-outs for titles that also released recently that we just didn't have time to take a deep dive into, but we wanted to let you know about so that you could check them out as well. First up, we have 10 magic rings. So of course this is items for you. It's $1 for 4 pages. Then we've got Amara's Treasures of the Deep, which has items and optional rules for you. It's 24 pages for $2.99. Then we've got the Anima Seed, which is $3 for 37 pages, and it's an adventure for levels 5 to 7. Then we have Adventures Dark and Deep, Book of the Lost Tables, which is available for $9.95 for the PDF, $29.95 for the hardcover, or both for that same price. It's 153 pages, and it's for early edition, basic, BECMI, first edition, second edition, OSR stuff, and it's got a lot of reference tables. If you like rolling on tables like me, you're going to love it. Next, we have Crazy Robot Dungeon. It is $2.99 for 12 pages. It's a 5th edition one-shot adventure for level 3, and it has a lot of puzzles as well. Then we've got Death Spire, which is a location with encounters, VTT, and maps, and it's $9.99 for 19 pages. Then we've got Legends of the Spheres, $9.99 for 98 pages. And this is for Pathfinder. It's got classes and archetypes and ties into that very popular Spheres system that came out in recent years. You've got Malakar's Outfitters, which is a bunch of items for you. It's $1 for 10 pages. Then we've got Middle Rock Games of Fortune's Fair on sale for $5, and it's 20 pages. And this is an adventure for level 5. Then we've got Mildly Magical Trinkets set number 1 with some beautiful custom artwork. It's the subtitle for this is Dorm Days. It's got a lot of items and trinkets in it. It's got a pay what you want price of $1 for 6 pages. Then we have NPC templates, Scout Rangers, and this one includes NPC templates, of course, as well as fully fleshed out NPCs. It's on sale for $1.99, normally $2.99, 16 pages, 5th edition. Then we have Opposing Oaths, which is Paladin Sacred Oaths. So you're getting those Paladin subclasses. It is $3.49 for 6 pages. Next, we have Trinkets of Mephistopheles, the Lord of the Eighth, and it is, of course, a bunch of trinkets that are themed for hell, basically. $1.50, 13 pages. And we have Untold Subclasses, Circle of Stone Soul, which is a druid subclass with spells and NPCs. It's $1.95 for 7 pages. And then we have the Warlord, which is a brand new class, $1.99 for 7 pages. 5th edition, of course. Well, that's all we have time for this week. Thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, like the video, and leave a comment for that algorithm. I will respond to all comments personally. And we really appreciate you watching and supporting all these wonderful creators we've talked about this week. You can do that by clicking those links and purchasing their books, leaving them comments, reviews, following them on social media, all that good stuff. But any purchase you make after clicking one of those links is also going to help the channel with a small affiliate fee. So we love when you do your shopping with us. If you can use one of our links as your bookmark for DM's Guild or Drive-Thru RPG, that also helps us a lot with those affiliate fees. And share the video out there with friends. Let them know about all these awesome creators. It's really hard for these small creators, especially with the changes in the social media landscape, to find new customers. And a lot of them are sort of given up. So help keep a lot of these in business by spreading the word. And if you really want to help us beyond clicking those links, you can purchase some of our books. We've had 7 awesome titles that we've released over the years. Those are available in the video description links, or you can go to splinterverse.com to find out about them, including our platinum best-selling Dragonlance companion and our mithril best-selling Feywild companion. And we have more coming later this year. We're going to have a Kickstarter for 2 books, which is a setting and an adventure. So you're going to want to make sure you follow us everywhere at Splinterverse so you're the first to know about how cool that's going to be. And it is one you do not want to miss. So stay tuned for that. And thank you all for watching and being here week after week for this show. We really appreciate it. And until next time, happy adventure.